Alright, eyes back up here real quick. Or eyes up here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pencils down. Eyes, pencil, 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 eyes. Alright, now, what we're going to do, so far the reason that you've been doing all of this is not just for fun. The reason that you've been doing it, although I know it's just been a blast, but the reason that you've been doing it is so that you can be prepared to write this end of module open response question. Okay? I would have called it an essay, but again, I want you to focus on essay writing in Mr. Johnson's class, and in my class you're going to respond in more of an open response style. So this is going to say something about a multi-paragraph essay. What I'm expecting from you is 2 paragraphs. If you have 1 paragraph, won't cut it. I need 2. If you want to extend it to 3, that's fine, but you need at least how many? 2. So this is the response that you're going to be asked to write about on Friday, and in order to be successful with that, we need to first take a look at it, and for the next 2 days, we'll spend drafting ideas and sort of breaking down what this is asking us to do. So this is the first initial look at this response. Read this response for me, please. Keys.
Write from. Choose a single character from one of the anchor texts. Castle Diary, The Midwife's Apprentice, and Canterbury Tales. And in a multi-paragraph essay, explain how that character's identity is influenced by his or her place in society.
So, before I can start writing, there's some things that I want to pull out here, okay? The first time I look at this, I might not know what it's asking me to write. And I might just write some gobbledygook, which is what y'all like to do sometimes. I think that blah, 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 blah. Doesn't make any sense. Stop. So, what I want to do is I want to break this down so that I actually know what this is asking me to write. So, what are some things that you think are important to pull out of this prompt that are going to help me know when I'm writing it, oh, okay, this is what the question is asking me to do. And if you can tell me one important thing that I should underline in order to pull it out. I can think of 3 or 4, and if you can tell me one. What do you think? Markion, tell me something that you think is important.
One thing that I think is important is kind of where everything in front of where it says multi-paragraph essay. It says explain how that character's identity influences his or her.
So, give me one word out of that, Markion, that you think is the most important for us to know or to understand. Okay, so explain. I like that you're saying that we need to explain, but if I don't know what I'm explaining, it doesn't matter that I'm explaining. What is it that I'm being asked to explain, Tyler?
Identity.
Identity. I like that you pulled that out. I have to know what that means before I can answer this question. I have to know what it means by character's identity. Eyes up here. Okay? When it says character's identity, what do you think that means? Kratera?
I think identity is like I think like when you pick your character, like I guess compared to another one.
Just give me your best educated guess as to what you think, and then we'll have others build on that.
I think you choose like 2 characters.
Hold up now. Choose a single character. So, Kratera, how many are we choosing? 1 character. So choose 1 character, and then what? Just tell me what you think it means by identity. I don't want you to tell me about this whole thing, but what does it mean when it says identity?
Oh, it's like how they in the middle class, like upper class.
So the upper class, middle class, and lower class, there's a part of this essay that wants you to do that, but it's not necessarily the identity part. So I'm going to come back to you. What do you think it means when it's talking about identity? Tori?
How the character views themselves.
Say it again.
How the character views themselves.
How the character views themselves. I like that a lot. So identity is about how I view myself. Eyes up here. About how I view myself or what I think about myself. So I could write that out to the side. How character views self. Okay? Yeah, how the character views themselves. Now, Kratera, you were telling me about the upper class, middle class, lower class. Where can you find that in this prompt? there's a certain part of this prompt that's asking you about upper, middle, and lower. Which part is it? The bottom. What does the bottom say?
Use include by his or her page in
Society.
Yeah.
Say that word.
Society.
Okay, so this is asking me to write about how the character's identity, and what did identity mean, Tori?
How the character views themselves.
How the character views themselves. How the character views themselves. You said they self.
How the character views
Them.
themselves.
There you go. How the character views themselves. What is identity? What's another word for identity? Anybody?
Background.
Background? I can think of a word that starts with a P. Profile, maybe. Personality. There we go. Personality. Those are all fine words to help me understand identity. So, how the character views himself, their personality, their profile. Any of that would help me understand what that means when it says identity. So, how is their identity shaped by their place in society? And when it says place in society, what is it talking about again, Jessica?
Which class that
Which class they're in? Yeah, upper class, middle class, lower class. Alright, so now that we've broken this down just a little bit, we have a better idea of what the prompt is asking us to write. Now what I want to do is shift gears and focus, because so far you've been finding textual evidence from a lot of different characters. But what does the first thing up here says? It says choose a what? Choose a single character. So our first step has got to be, so now we've broken it down a little bit. We know basically what it's going to ask us to write. Now we need to backtrack. We need to go to step one. Step one is we have a lot of different quotes, right? And we need to take those quotes and we need to narrow it down and we need to pick what? One person. One character. So take 1 minute to look over your paper and identify which character am I going to write about. Don't tell me. Circle it, mark it somehow, figure out which character you are going to write about. So don't talk to somebody next to you about which character you're going to write about. Just think. Identify it on your paper in some way, shape, or form. You can circle it. Alright, real quickly, I want you to take I want you to take 30 seconds to tell someone next to you which character you're going to write about and why. Wait, let me finish directions. Eyes. You're going to say, I'm going to write about this character and here's why. The other person's going to say, I'm going to write about this character and here's why. And then you can provide feedback. You'll say, I think that's not a good idea because there's not enough textual evidence to help you. Or you'll say, I think that's a good idea because there's plenty of textual evidence to help you. Or you'll say, that's a good idea because of another reason. Or that's a bad idea because of another reason. Anybody have a question about what you're about to do?
No, sir.
All right, what are you going to do real quick? Tell me, Patricia, what are you about to do?
You're finna tell your teammates who you're writing about, and then they're gonna tell you who they're writing about, and then you gonna explain why it's a good idea or a bad idea.
Ooh, that's perfect. All right, take 2 minutes to do that. Discuss with someone next to you. Go.